Welcome back, everyone. We're Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, and the Plebsites. Joining us today, fellow Bitcoiner, Jimbo Coin. Jimbo, what's up, man?
Hello. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us. All right, we are diving into the numbers. Let's do it, people.
Number time! Brought to you by Nodl. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes like the Nodl Dojo. Yes, it's in red. That means it's faster. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core and the Lightning Network in the comfort of your own home on the Nodl. Remember, guys, if you're not running your own Bitcoin node, you're using someone else's, so get yourself a Nodl today.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 733,692. The Bitcoin price, 38,165. Chain rewrite day, 720. Total public Lightning capacity, 3,632.11. Moscow time, 2620. Blocks to the halvening, 106,308. And the Samurai Whirlpool unspent capacity. Samurai Whirlpool is a collaborative spend or coin join. It is not a mixing service. And the unspent capacity in that pool is 4,530.5 BTC. The numbers, Nico.
The numbers. Another day, another day in the Bitcoin stablecoin.
We suck again.
This is crazy. Price has gone sideways for a year. Anyways, moving on.
Good stacking day.
But the thing that I want to talk about today was the Bitcoin Mining Council. This is I think they release a quarterly report. Let's check out some of it. And it kind of contradicts, right, a lot of what you're hearing from the enemies of Bitcoin, right, that are using the climate in order to attack Bitcoin's proof of work. And as you'll see during the news segment, you'll see how much collusion there is from governments, right? And you'll see, like, you'll start to, ask these questions, right? Is it really about the planet, or is it really about the fact that they can't control Bitcoin, right? I think we have enough evidence today to make a very strong case that it's because they can't control it. Anyways, let's get to it. Austin, Texas, April 25th, 2022. The Bitcoin Mining Council, a voluntary global forum of Bitcoin mining companies and other companies in the Bitcoin industry, announced the findings of its first quarter survey focused on three metrics: electricity consumption and technological efficiency and sustainable power mix. The BMC revealed that for the first time it has successfully collected data from 50% of the global Bitcoin network, representing 100 exahashes as of March 31st, 2022, in the latest voluntary sector survey. The results of this survey show that miners of the BMC and participants in the survey are currently utilizing electricity with a 64% sustainable power mix. Based on this data, it is estimated that the global Bitcoin mining industry's sustainable electricity mix is now 58.4% and had increased approximately 59% year on year from quarter 1 2021 to quarter 1 2022, make it one of the most sustainable industries globally. Additionally, year on year, it is estimated that the global Bitcoin network's technological efficiency grew by 63% from 12.6 exahashes per gigawatt in quarter 1 2021 to 20.5 exahashes per gigawatt in quarter 1 2022. This efficiency gain reaffirms the fact that the Bitcoin network continues to grow and will become even more efficient over time. Right. And, that's an argument that we've been saying for a long time. But if you believe a lot of the propaganda, right, released by the legacy media outlets, right, they would like you to know. Remember, we all remember that World Economic Forum post, right, the infamous one, that Bitcoin was going to consume all the world's energy by a certain date. Right. And this just completely contradicts that. Now, to be fair, because this is simply Bitcoin, right, the Bitcoin Mining Council was set up by Michael Saylor. And Michael Saylor has a very, very big investment in Bitcoin, right? You could see where these incentives are misaligned there, right? So just as the propaganda media, right, wants you to believe a certain narrative, you could make a pretty big bet that Michael Saylor also wants you to see Bitcoin in a good light, right? So just wanted to emphasize that, right, to be neutral. But listen, it is a voluntary survey, but honestly, if you understand how mining works, and that's an industry that, I'm lucky to be a part of for a couple years now, yeah, that's how it works. It's just the hardware is going to get more efficient over time. A mining rig, right, is not only is it going to have more hash power, right? It gives more bang for its buck. Like, that's just obvious, right? All hardware gets better over time. It's Moore's law, right? Moore's law applies to Bitcoin miners as well, right? So I don't see why it's any different. But of course, what I just said is a very inconvenient talking point to the people that would like you to believe a certain narrative. So that being said, and not only that, right? It was 58%. Right, of Bitcoin mining comes from renewable energy sources, which makes total sense, right? Because Bitcoin has to use stranded energy sources, right? Or, it'd be completely, you'd be outpriced. You can't use energy sources in a city, right? So again, like, it's the narrative they would like you to believe. How about we audit what the energy sources of banks are? Right? If we're going to have these discussions, are they as green as Bitcoin? 58% is pretty high. There's other industries that are not on par, right? So again, why are they focusing so much on Bitcoin? It is because they can't control it. I can't come to any conclusion, honestly. Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts on this? We'll pass it on to Jimbo.
So don't forget, right? The world technically ended 2 years ago when the internet already sucked up all the energy by 2020. So remember, right? The internet was going to destroy everything. So, and guess what? We're using the internet right now. Turns out it hasn't destroyed everything. We're all very surprised. Look, this doesn't surprise me. You know what? I really appreciate you being objective with your points about Michael Saylor, because that is very important, right? That we look at both sides. But at the same time, to your point, nobody has an accurate reading on how much the military industrial complex really costs to run, right? To keep all the, the violence in business, to make sure that the dollar, keeps its hegemony and everything. But besides that, I always find it interesting that people, we have this blind spot where all of a sudden we decide, well, no, the technology is not going to get any better. It's just going to stay like this, and Bitcoin's just going to destroy the world. Like, everything is getting, like you said, more efficient. There's no world where this all of a sudden just stops. So not to say that we're going in this direction, but nanotechnology already exists, so not that there's any major real applications of it right now, but that's not really that far off. Like, who's to say what's going to really happen with computing? I just find it it's a lot of hubris, right? That you just, okay, what's going to happen, and that's it. I hate it. I really hate it. I'd rather have the point of not knowing and being bullish that Bitcoin is going to totally change lives because people don't understand what we're going through.
Absolutely. And it just reminds me of, we had that article by Paul Krugman, that infamous one, right? That the internet was not going to amount to anything. We had that one, right? Or the internet was going to use all the world's energy, right? These infamous articles back
by
in
2020, Nico.
There you go, right? So now we are here, and the internet has fundamentally changed society, I would say, for the better, right? It's connected people. It's allowed people to do their own research, right? So yeah, and it's incredible, right? So for them to, it's exactly what you said, Phil, to have that hubris, right? To like, oh yeah, it's just gonna, it's Bitcoin helps people. Bitcoin, right? How many people in the world don't have access to bank accounts, right? Because of how bureaucratic the legacy system is. If you have a cell phone and an internet connection, now you could be part of the global economy. How could you be against that, right? Anyways, Jimbo, what are your thoughts on this? Are you seeing what we're seeing, or are we just crazy plebs?
Well, I certainly agree with everything you said about how important Bitcoin is for everybody. I'm going to push back a little bit, if I could, on the energy efficiency thing. So on the one hand, yes, mining equipment continues to be more efficient in terms of producing more hash per watt of electricity. That's an important metric. And we expect to see hashes per watt continue to increase. However, all of that hash is to a computation which is by design inefficient. What I mean by that is blocks come every 10 minutes. If blocks are coming too fast because miners say got more efficient, then blocks, the difficulty readjustment ensures that then now it'll be more difficult. It'll require more processing. Some people mistakenly call this a waste, but The reason that's a mistake is because what it produces is security, right? And it's the cheapest form of security because the alternative is violence, right? That's the way that fiat currencies operate, is by having a monopoly on violence, that they can, issue the currency and nobody else can. And that's the entire legacy system. The alternative to that is, or we can use electricity, and not just any electricity, but we use the cheapest available electricity. So Bitcoin incentivizes miners to find new and cheaper stranded resources or bring new resources online that previously would not have existed. So in my opinion, it could totally be the case that Bitcoin becomes more than half of all of the electricity usage, but it could be doing so in places where there aren't people, or it could bring people to new places where there isn't currently a viable living option, but suddenly there is because there's electricity there, and electricity powers everything else. So I'm bullish on humanity. I'm bullish on Bitcoin using more electricity over time and not less, because it is actually a mechanism by which we get more development.
Well, I mean, and I think that really brings up a good point, and I completely agree with you, Jim, in the sense that humanity's prosperity is directly correlated with the amount of energy usage that humanity uses, right? So, and there's a lot of people nowadays that are essentially correlating energy usage with a bad thing. And I would make the argument, right, I'm sure the rest of you would as well, that that's anti-human. Literally, that's your you purposely want humanity to be poorer. And if humanity's poorer, that means people die sooner, there's more suicides, there's more suffering, right? There's less health, right? Poverty breeds all those things. And then you can kind of go into the conspiracy theory route of perhaps, these people want to control, because think about it, you control energy, you control people, right? And perhaps that's really what they're after versus cutting down on energy in the first place. I don't know. But anyways, we'll stay on top of it as it develops. But Phil, it's time for
The Daily Fail. Brought to you by Amber App. Check them out. Amber.app. Fair spreads, low fees, smart automation, a Bitcoin stacking app by Bitcoiners. The link is down below.
Amber, the smart way to stack sats.
All right, I was just saying to Nico, I'm like, don't worry. I'm like, we're not going over the same tweet from Elon that we've already gone over like 3 times. This isn't like an Elon bashing thing. It's got nothing to do with Elon. But the responses I find are hilarious. But we do obviously have to give some context, right? So Elon tweeted, if our Twitter bid succeeds, we will defeat the spam bots or die trying and authenticate all real humans. And of course, we've already dumped on that comment. And we're going to dive into one of the responses here. One of the responses that I find worrisome. I would not be advocating for this, and I have worked already with biometrics, so I know exactly how the data is stored, and I would not want this data to be stored. Anyways, I digress. Not by the state. Not by anyone, really. Okay, here we go. 5 ideas to implement. 1. Login via biometrics. No. 2. Comments possible and visible only to logged in users. Don't you already have to connect up with your phone to Twitter or have an email? Like, you're already logged in, so I don't... Anyways, that's just weird. That's just like a weird anyways. Level of engagement according to publications. Okay, so now you're going to have a bunch of bots that are going to sit there and publish a whole bunch of crap.
No, it's even worse than that. It's even worse than that. It's are you an accredited journalist, right? It's like, are you from CNN? Are you from New York Times, right? It's like, dude, it's just
going to increase the circle jerk.
Terrible idea. Anyways.
So, number 4, live discussion room. I don't even know, all right, fine. And then 5, integration with fact-checking agencies. I really like that one. Like, who are going to be those fact-checking agencies? Who is going to decide what is facts and what is not? As we've seen in the last 2 years, we've had an abundance of confusion. It's actually despicable and pathetic that we couldn't come up with a single narrative that people would agree on.
Well, go ahead. Sorry, Phil. Sorry.
No, that's it. That's it for that one. If you guys want to throw in your take on this one.
Yeah, real quick. The problem is really, and what we've seen this in the last 5-6 years, this occurrence is that the expert class that had a total monopoly on information is getting completely owned by people doing their own research, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, right? An expert says something, right? And then a bunch of people in a decentralized manner, kind of like in a hive mind type of function, right? Just starts doing their own research on the internet, starts uncovering truths, right? And it just makes these people, the credentialed class, look very bad, right? And then they obviously, there comes a lot of power with being the person that the expert of that information. But if you're being consistently owned by just individuals looking it up for themselves, then you're not really useful anymore. But they also don't want to give up that power, right? So it's really fascinating what's happening. Jimbo, what are your thoughts on this? And this also bleeds into the money as well, right? It's like you have to use our money because we know what's best. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to share my comments on this. I never use biometrics. I hate them. I never use my thumbprint. I don't use my face on phones or anything like that, because this idea of like logging in. Obviously, when you log in, information is being sent from your device to some server somewhere. The fact that that is traversing the internet should make it obvious that you can't necessarily know whether or not it was a person. Was this just somebody replaying the same data that was played before? So it's not really logging in. It's just presenting credentials, like it's presenting data. And as long as it's presenting credentials, it may as well be something you keep in your head, like a password. So, Bitcoin has no concept of who you are. It's all knowledge is ownership. Do you know the keys or not? And period. That's your ownership, is do you know the keys? And so here, yet again, it's like, no, you can't log in via biometrics. All you can do is hope that people don't game it, but of course they would immediately. So
100%. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Give me a sec, Nico. I've got to enable the sound before we move on. This is a spicy video here that we're gonna put on. All right, I have to admit, I haven't watched this video yet, so this is going to be interesting for everyone, but I saw that it was Marty's Owl, fellow Bitcoiner, fellow pleb, love Marty's Owl, so shout out. I'm like, yeah, we got to put this up. Take a look at this fail. What is this? XRP is going to help take your freedom. Nice, I guess. Anyway, so here's a tweet, Jack the Rippler, one of their Ripple bots, I guess. Bill Winters, CEO of Standard Chartered and at Ripple partner, talks about how XRP is going to bridge CBDCs. Now, keep in mind, guys, we dug in, I believe, last week or the week before into an article detailing how Consensus is offering a bridge to CBDCs, right? We also covered another fail by XRP, also offering the olive branch to CBDCs. All the shitcoiners are really excited to be part of the long arm of the government. Mm-hmm. That's a red flag. Anyways.
Enable the sound before the little...
Oh, I did.
No, the mute.
Oh, the mute. No, thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So let's watch this video. It's Bill Winters, CEO of Standard Chartered and Ripple partner, talks about how XRP is going to bridge CBDCs. Let's check this out.
We have countries like Switzerland and China all testing out the digital currencies. How are you gearing up for the disruption of money with central bank digital currencies? How will it change the way you and other banks operate in future?
Probably fundamentally. While we're not formally involved, no foreign banks are involved in the Chinese ECNY. I think we're as close to that as we can be to understand how that digital currency can be used for cross-border trade. Going back 5 years, we had digital currency underpinned trade finance and money settlement systems, and using as a medium of exchange, using things like Ripple's XRP, for example, as a medium to affect real-time cross-border payments.
The disruption of money. CBDCs. I think this is so comical. It's absolutely insane. And mind you have to give them credit. You have to give them credit for completely ignoring Bitcoin's existence, right? Like the conversation just sounds so strange. I feel like these people live in another world and they just ignore that all of this technology, right? This network is happening right outside their door. It's just insane. Anyways, clown world.
No, dude, you're totally right, bro. They're just incentivized to not understand it. Like they don't understand that they are gonna have to give up control whether they like it or not. right? And the ironic part about this is that if they join the movement, it will benefit them financially just like everybody else. But they don't want that. They would rather keep the power, right? And this applies to nation states as well. A nation state would rather have their citizens stay poor and give their citizens a little bit of freedom, which is what Bitcoin does. But unfortunately for them, and this goes back to what Jimbo was saying during the number section, right? The efficiency of violence, right, when it comes to Bitcoin, it doesn't work as it worked before, right? The balance of power essentially shifted from the nation state to the individual, and violence just doesn't give that return on investment the way it used to, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Jimbo?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The CBDC thing, all the currencies are already digital. It's just intermediated by banks. So really all they're talking about here is a more efficient database for their own purposes. Whether or not it happens to use hashing functions on the back end is ancillary. It's secondary. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's already digital. It's already credit. It can already be overruled and rewritten by, the bureaucrats at whim. So anyway.
But you like how he goes and mentions using XRP for medium of exchange. It's like nobody's actually using that. People are actually using Bitcoin. So this is just, it's so comical. Okay, anyways, let's dive into the last fail, which I also found amusing. Here we go. We were tagged. Let's dive into it. Tagged by CoinJoin Day. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at this.
He's the man, by the way. He's the man.
Yeah,
Thanks for tagging us so much, brother.
Like insane. Him,
really appreciate it, dude.
And
Sai. Yeah, man. Sai's
oh my
awesome.
gosh. Mr. Robot. Mm-hmm. There's a whole bunch of plebs. I feel terrible because I'm obviously missing like 10 people, and I feel awful.
We love you guys. We love you guys. Just wanted to say, I love you.
Here we go. Let's do it. All right. We've got at Web3 is great, even though it doesn't exist, as we saw yesterday. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried tries to explain yield farming, and it's just a Ponzi. Now, did some background on this image. So he did not say all of these things in this order. So I did provide a link to the transcript that will be in the show notes, so people could actually go through and see what he did. So somebody took all of this and kind of put it together. I'm just giving that for a frame of reference, right? So he did say these things, but they're not all, in order. So just being, transparent. Here we go. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried tries to explain yield farming, and it's just a Ponzi. One of the most well-known crypto execs and the founder of the popular FTX crypto exchange appeared on an interview on Bloomberg's Odd Lots podcast alongside finance journalist Matt Levine. When asked by Levine to explain yield farming, Bankman-Fried launched into an explanation in which he compared it to a box that they probably dress it up to look like a life-changing, but it does literally nothing. He explained how people put money into the box because of, the bullishness of people's usage of the box. So they go and pour another 300 million in the box, and you get a psych, and then it goes to infinity. And then everyone makes money. Levine responded, I think of myself as like a fairly cynical person, and that was so much more cynical than how I would have described farming. You're just like, well, I'm in the Ponzi business, and it's pretty good. That should scare the shit out of you. If you have money sitting in DeFi and in liquidity pools, and if you have money sitting on that exchange, I'd be really worried that person has that much power. That's insane and scary to me. The whole transcript is actually even worse because he goes into a much longer explanation about this box. But do you realize what he just explained? He just explained that you're putting money into absolutely nothing and expecting something. Now, that only lasts so long before it blows up. Anyways.
I want Jimbo to riff on this a little bit more, but I just have one comment, okay? Like the evil villain in the Bond movies, it's in his name. Sam Bankman. Sam Bankman. All right, that's all I gotta say. Anyways, Jimbo, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the DeFi and the yield farming and all that. It seems like exactly how it was described, a Ponzi scheme. It's where does this money come from? If you're seeing these results, they're coming from somewhere. Somebody else is not seeing them. It's there's no bailouts, in crypto land. So it's not like the government can come in and make you whole again. Like, at least fiat currency has that going for it. Like, at least they can bail out the banks by just printing money out of nothing. But these things, it's like, if you're expecting to take your money out, where is that going to come from? And eventually the game of musical chairs and music stops, and you don't want to be the one without a chair.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's very, very well put. Hopefully there's some stock footage of musical chairs. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by actual Bitcoiners. This is volume 10. Every volume has different artwork. This is the artwork for volume 11. It just dropped, and they're scarce. There's only 1,000 physical copies made per volume. So get your print of Citadel 21 today before they run out. All right, everybody, welcome to the Meme Review, where we review memes, because it's a meme review. Remember, memes are a very important part of Bitcoin culture, and they play a very, very important function in the information war, in the narrative trench warfare. Anyways, let's check it out. First meme is by Max Payne Maxi. Lazy memes. Me thinking about how much I love Bitcoin. The devil trying to trick me into buying shitcoins. Honestly, yeah, I understand this in the beginning, perhaps, right? But after a couple years of being, orange pilled, you realize there really isn't anything else. Like, you wouldn't even dare. I couldn't even think of myself selling Bitcoin for anything, including dollars, because dollars are a shitcoin too. Anyway, so I get it. In the first year, I understand that. All right. Next one by Pubby. Not your keys. Something, something, something. I own Bitcoin. It's on an exchange.
Come on, that's great.
And Pubby is killing it lately, bro. All right. Next one. I know it's by a shitcoiner, right? But it's still a really good meme.
Ew.
All right. So, do you not want me to review it, Phil?
Of course, review it.
We'll
call him a shitcoiner, though.
It's absolutely hilarious, bro. Like, look, we all know, right? I'm not going to read the whole paragraph, but look, Elon, wants free speech, whatever. And this is what we've seen in the last couple of years. The last couple of days. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. And then Elon even responds, right? So really interesting. I like Twitter in that sense. Lena, she's a legend, right? She draws these, she makes these by hand, and they're so good. And this relates to what we're going to talk about today, and it also relates to what I talked about during the numbers section, right? And she just says control. We should promote this one. It's the European Union, right? ETH. We're decentralized and sustainable. It's decentralized and sustainable. And then the Bitcoiner can't, and ban this one because they can't control it. Very deep, very good. I'm gonna reference this meme again when we cover it during the news. Anyways, this is very dangerous for a democracy. Elizabeth Warren, right? And just put this together, the NPCs. Absolutely hilarious. And here is, the CEO of Twitter kicking out Jack Dorsey, Elon kicking him out, and Trump dancing in the background. We're apolitical, but I think it's funny. Anyways, last one by the legendary Yellow. This man is an artist, okay? Anyways, let's check it out. I haven't seen this yet, so let's check it out.
What's going on, man? What are you talking about? Oh my god. I heard that in China is buying Bitcoin and I don't like Bitcoin and that's why I'm stopping, guys. Like, what would I do now? I heard that El Salvador is gonna make cortado like a center or something.
Very, very good, Yellow, but you're blue at the end. I want to know what the hell is going on with that. For that, I'm gonna give it a very special score. I know Phil is gonna appreciate this because he's a nerd like me. Some thermal paste.
No, wait. I actually remember something, and you said yesterday that you were gonna show today what you got. You said that was gonna be the score. Yes.
It's still in the box.
You're a bastard.
It's still in the box.
Terrible.
I said I was gonna unveil the Lucio Paletti thing that I bought.
Yes!
But Phil's gonna have to wait one
I
more
need to
day.
know. I need to know what you got. Okay, anyways. All right. My score, right? As you all know, I'm moving. Finally, it's happening. I'm leaving in like a month, 5 weeks. All right. Still more stickers. Here we go. Another amazing Swede Toshi original. See you at the Citadel. We miss you, Space Cheetah.
We miss you, Cheetah Man. All right, Jimbo, what would you give those beams?
Especially the last one. Just Bitcoin has the best memers and intelligence. We have all the brains. But for that reason, I have to give it a living the dream.
Woo! That's a great score. Anyways,
Thanks.
guys, we want to know if you agree with our scores, you disagree. Let us know down in the comment section. And of course, make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms for obvious reasons, like rumble.com. Our personal favorite, bitcointv.com. They don't censor there because Bitcoin TV. And of course, join our Telegram group and link us some dank Bitcoin memes for review. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily News.
Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best Bitcoin merch, like the famous Bitcoin art sculpture grenade. This one's in gold. That means it's Peter Schiff's favorite, but it's a Bitcoin grenade, so he's not going to like it. And the famous Bitcoin honey badger also comes in 3 different sizes, and you can take advantage of the link down below to get 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. All right, if you guys haven't been living under a bridge, you've seen this on Twitter. You've probably seen this from other, Bitcoin YouTubers or shitcoin YouTubers. But we're gonna give you the maxi perspective on this and why I don't think it's such a great fucking idea. I'll get to it in a little bit, right? Fidelity's new 401k offering will invest in Bitcoin, right? Michael Saylor was literally like, "Oh my God, we're gonna offer it to our, to our employees," right? Anyways, the article goes on to say Fidelity, the nation's largest provider of 401k plans, said on Tuesday that it would enable its participants to put a slice of their retirement money into Bitcoin if their employers are willing to allow it. The announcement could put millions of people closer to direct investment in Bitcoin. Wrong. No. You're buying paper Bitcoin of which a custodian is holding. That's not direct investment. Bullshit. Anyways, this summer without having to set up an account on a cryptocurrency exchange. But regulators have already said that they're skeptical of the idea. Last month, the Department of Labor, which oversees workplace retirement plans, said it would cast a critical eye on plans that added digital assets to their investment menus, right? So the government doesn't allow you to fucking pick what you would like to put your retirement money in, apparently. How big is Fidelity? Check this out. This is from their own website. 13,500 clients serviced who oversee 70% of America's $55.6 trillion in wealth, and they currently hold $4 trillion under administration themselves. So why am I not excited and why not as giddy as a lot of people, right? Because we only win and things only change if people take self-custody of their Bitcoin. Period. And stop, right? We don't fix the system if you just choose another custodian. That's the problem today, right? Is that someone else is holding your money. So it doesn't fix anything, right? So yeah, I guess it's cool, but it's not cool because essentially listen, instead of saving through retirement with the traditional system, take that shit out, put Bitcoin into self-custody, become a sovereign individual. Take the power of your money back into your hands and only your hands. Because then it's not powerful. Then you're totally dependent on who's in political power, whether they like Bitcoin or not that day, right? Like it's a scam. Don't fall for it. Don't get too excited. We only win if enough people take self-custody. And if enough people take self-custody, we win no matter what they try to do. It's really that simple. Anyways, I'm going to pass it on to Jimbo and then Phil.
Yeah, 100% agree. Bitcoin is the first thing you can truly own. Everything else has a backdoor, right? If you think you own your gold coins and you have them in a safe or whatever, somebody can still kill you and take your gold coins. If you guard your Bitcoin seed appropriately, and if you use something like a passphrase and put it in your head, it is unseizable. They can kill you, but they don't get your Bitcoin. that's if you take custody of it. If you leave it on an exchange, it's not yours, it's theirs, right? So 100% agree, you have to take custody. Yeah, the 401k thing is too late, and it's not that, it doesn't really help anything. So
it's lame, dude. It just puts more money, it creates more paper Bitcoin. More institutions are holding Bitcoin. No, like it doesn't change anything. Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely not impressed with paper Bitcoin, right? Like, that doesn't make me happy. Fidelity doing this, even, GBTC, stuff like that. I know that there's a lot of people that cheer this and think, oh, it's adoption, oh, it's making inroads and this and that. It's pure nonsense. It's garbage, okay? That is just the honest to God truth about it. But what it really makes you wonder, okay, what it really makes you think of and realize is that these institutions offer absolutely no value by way of actual services to their customers. Like, think about it.
To be fair, Phil, you could have made the argument that there was no better option before Bitcoin.
That's exactly the point. And that's exactly right. There was no better option before Bitcoin. And what did they actually do? I mean, I was an amateur stock trader when I wasn't working or in the middle of my day. And look, I wasn't using any of their custodial services or anything like that. So when you're looking at companies like, let's say, Goldman Sachs or something like that, and they're handling people's money, what do you really think these people are doing all day long besides sitting around doing absolutely nothing? I'm serious. You think they don't know that number keeps going up because they keep printing more? You're going to tell me that all these geniuses that work in that system have no frickin' clue that the number will just continue to go up and all they're doing is playing musical chairs with stocks? You know what I mean? Anyways.
They're checking Clark Moody's dashboard. That's what they're doing. Anyways, moving on to the next piece of news. So we've been covering this. This has been a developing story. However, we're not going to... Just to give you context, we're going to cover this. This actually dropped recently, this article. New York bill banning proof-of-work crypto mining poised to advance. New York's crypto mining moratorium bill is one step closer to advancing to the state assembly. This is what I have to say. Bitcoin doesn't care, and New York is going to have fun staying poor. And another aspect is the game theory of Bitcoin. Because if you ban Bitcoin someplace else, someone else is going to see that as an opportunity. So while New York is shooting itself in the metaphorical foot, Fort Worth is literally mining Bitcoin. Check this out. Fort Worth is the first city in the U.S. to mine Bitcoin and will run mining rigs out of City Hall. Mic drop, Fort Worth. Big middle finger to New York. However, before you get too excited, each of the programs, 3 machines, will consume the same amount of energy as a household vacuum cleaner. So, of course, this is a symbolic middle finger, and they're not even S19s, bro. They're S9s. So she seems very happy. Maybe it's to get votes. I don't know. We're making Fort Worth the first city government in the United States to mine Bitcoin. We launch at 2:30 p.m. Central Time today, live stream here on Twitter. Pretty badass, to be honest. So, again, this is the game theory of Bitcoin playing out, right? You could try to ban it someplace else, but, you could try to ban it wherever you are. Have fun staying poor. The miners are just going to move where they're just treated best, better jurisdiction, right? This is what we've been talking about. We've been saying this is going to happen. This is the better flag theory. This is the power that Bitcoin gives you, right? But, I mean, it doesn't really apply. I mean, it kind of applies to miners, right? But not really so. But, again, kind of to take the self-custody aspect into this, really, you could only benefit from the mobility if you have self-custody of your Bitcoin. In this aspect, I know it's miners, but take self-custody. I'm sneaking it in. Anyways, Jimbo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's got to be hot in that room. I mean, she's got 3 S9s there with no kind of exhaust duct work or anything, just sitting there. Like, that's got to be hot. I mean, they should really work on that. But yeah, take control of your miners. I mean, I know this is not on the news in this segment, but the Compass mining situation that is continuing to unravel, people not getting their miners or things are slow. It's like, okay, not your facility, not your hash. Like, you have to own your physical miners or it's not yours.
Yeah, to take self-custody of your miners. Unfortunately, Jimbo, some people just happen to be born in a place with very expensive electricity, right? So it's unfortunate, but I completely agree. If those miners aren't in your custody, it's what you said. It's not your miners, so I agree.
Yeah, it's an interesting problem. I mean, I just electricity, but it was that was the way to do it. I mean, I wanted to start the possibility of a KYC free DCA stack, and that's how you do it, is run your own miners. So even though it might not be as cheap as buying on an exchange to your electric bill, it's yours, and you mined it yourself, and that sovereignty is an important piece.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. Bill, what are your thoughts on the New York staying poor, have fun staying poor, and Texas have fun becoming rich?
Well, at least Fort Worth, right? So look,
you get it. Fort Worth is worth something.
Well, they're going to be worth something right now. They're worth something already. But look, the truth of the matter is that NYC, we already knew they were going to have fun staying poor. They've been having fun staying poor for a while. They, for some reason, love to inflict pain on the people that pay taxes over there. So, par for the course on that one. But in terms of Fort Worth, right, I'm going to stay away from the technicals because I know nothing about the technicals for mining. You know that, Nico. You know my knowledge in mining just really comes from you. So what I'm going to do is take a look at this from the perspective of the game theory, right? We now have a local government that is a municipal government that is mining Bitcoin, So don't get me wrong. Symbolically, that's cool, right? We weren't seeing this a year ago. We weren't seeing this 5 years ago. So this starts to tell you that people aren't really laughing at us anymore, right? It's not so much a novelty.
Dude,
anyways,
it's crazy, man. The Bitcoin didn't exist, 15 years ago, right? And it's come all this way. And the honey badger does not stop. Anyways, what I wanted to focus on today was this article. It's the smoking gun, because we essentially have been making the argument that they're really concerned about control. They're really yeah, it's that bad. And I'm going to pull up the Lena Seish meme right here, right? Now it makes a lot of sense, right? Pull up the article again. Target the Bitcoin price. Internal documents reveal how the EU could crack down on Bitcoin and protect Ethereum, right? Why? Because they can control Ethereum and they can't control Bitcoin. Anyways, let's get to the article. As the Bitcoin price has skyrocketed, so has the Bitcoin network's electricity demands with the process of securing the network. Confirming transactions and minting new coins thought to use a similar amount of electricity annually as some small countries, right? Already setting the tone, right? Now, after an energy, and again, it's a very insincere sentence, a paragraph, right? Because like we said, like Jimbo so beautifully put during the numbers section, right? Bitcoin uses, or wouldn't be economically viable, stranded energy, meaning energy that wasn't being used or energy that was already going to waste, energy that humanity wasn't going to consume in the first place. So very, very insincere. And this is coming from Forbes, mind you, right? Now, after an energy reducing upgrade to, you hear that? Now, after an energy reducing upgrade to Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin was pushed back to the end of the year. Internal European Union documents have revealed the extent of anti-Bitcoin sentiment among EU officials and their desire to protect the likes of Ethereum. Earlier this year, Swedish financial regulators and the European Union Commission discussed the possibility of banning Bitcoin's proof-of-work mining mechanism due to the environmental impact, according to documents published by German website Netzpolitik and obtained under the EU's Freedom of Information laws. Officials went as far as suggesting the EU enact an outright ban on trading Bitcoin to curb its overall energy consumption. That's not going to curb anything. And suggested applying pressure to the Bitcoin community. Developers to follow Ethereum in transitioning to the less energy demanding proof of stake. Ethereum has been trying to transition to proof of stake for fucking years and still hasn't done it. It's dog shit. Anyways, if Ethereum is able to shift, we could legitimately request the same from Bitcoin. Minutes of the meeting showed we need to protect other crypto coins that are sustainable and don't see the need to protect the Bitcoin community. Last month, the EU voted against a ban on proof of work, Bitcoin and crypto mining, which according to the University of Cambridge, Bitcoin electricity consumption index consumes roughly 139 terawatt hours of electricity a year, more than is used by the country of Finland. But connect this with what the percentage of renewable energies, right? The majority comes from renewable energies, right? And the vast majority of that electricity consumed comes from stranded electricity. If it didn't come from stranded electricity sources, it wouldn't be economically viable for those miners. Of course, there's people mining at home, that are subsidizing it on a personal level. But I'm talking about if you have a couple miners, right? You need cheap electricity and basic supply and demand. Why is electricity so cheap? Because it's not being used, right? Anyways, some of the minutes text, including the response to a question on a complete Bitcoin trading ban, has been redacted to protect the ongoing decision-making process. How would the disappearance of Bitcoin affect consumers? Asked one official involved, with the response reading, participants in Bitcoin are fully aware of the volatility of the currency/investment risk. Now, put the dots together, right? And I'm going to try to paint it for you guys, right? Because we've been covering this for a couple months, and I want you guys to understand how serious this is, right? Check out the wording from this article. Check out New York's reasons, right? As to one, environmentally minded state lawmakers concerned about fossil fuel plants moving into crypto mining. And now check out this tweet that I had from a couple days ago, right? These are all the events that we've been covering over the months. And every single one of these events, whether it's the cleaning up cryptocurrency committee at the Senate, the EU securities regulator, the proposal to ban proof of work, New York State, Bitcoin consumes more power than all these countries, and a New York Times article. And you know what all these things have in common? Bitcoin bad, proof of stake good. Proof of stake they can control. Proof of work they can't corrupt. Is it a coincidence? And it happened way too many times to be a coincidence. I think this is of course, there's no way to verify this, but again, you could put two and two together, right? I think this is a combined attack on Bitcoin's proof of work by the powers that be, because they can't control Bitcoin because of proof of work. And again, when it was Europe doing it, when it was, New York doing it, right? You're like, okay, maybe it's a coincidence. But when you have that article that literally catches a smoking gun in their hand, I think it's undeniable at this point, dude, to be honest with you. You literally have them saying, Bitcoin bad, Ethereum good. Literally. It's in text. And they have to redact it. Like, I don't know how much evidence you need. Anyways, Jimbo, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, proof of stake is the way everything already worked, right? Whoever had the most gets to make the rules. So, like, why would we recreate that in another system? Like, if you like that model, then go invest with Fidelity, because, whoever has the most gets more say. That's proof of stake in a nutshell. And of course, because of the nature of proof of stake, it can be commandeered. People will have offices. It'll naturally aggregate. People, the exchanges that have everybody's coins will naturally be able to stake. And then now the exchange control everything. So nothing is good about proof of stake. It's not innovative. It's the same way everything else already works. Proof of work is the innovation. It's the way out of the legacy system. Absolutely,
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. Phil, last words of the segment.
Man, I thought you started, for a second there, I thought you were hosting the fail. What the hell was that? Like, I can't believe it. You know what? I shouldn't say I can't believe it. I should, at this point, from everything we read, should be able to believe it. So I just wanted to remind everyone, ETH owns a publication, right? Vitalik Buterin's father owns a publication, and they released a document in collaboration with the World Economic Forum, which we covered when Guy Swan was on the show, where they discredit proof of work, which Ethereum still is, and of course touting the benefits of proof of stake. Okay, so this is par for the course. We can see now it's getting much more dangerous. Nico, you went through all those publications. We covered every single one of those in depth. I mean, it is absolutely sickening. It is sickening that rather than attempt to figure out how to build and incorporate with this system, which clearly enables freedom and allows better, more virtuous qualities to exist on Earth, they'd rather just sit there and fight it and create FUD and nonsense and division and war and it's psychotic, man.
they would rather maintain an exclusionary...
Where the hell are we?
Bro, dude, it's power corrupts, absolutely, man. They would rather keep a system that excludes than let go of power so that the system that includes could thrive, even though it's going to thrive anyways.
Illusionary power. It's illusion.
You can't stop the honey badger. And I also want to add to what Phil was saying, right, with Vitalik Buterin's dad and all that. But also, you can't make this shit up. A board member of the Ethereum Foundation actually is the head of the blockchain initiative of the World Economic Forum. You can't make this shit up, dude. It's total clown world out there. But anyways, Phil, there was an open source software release today. I want to tell everybody about it.
Today there was a Plebsite. So Plebsites. Brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out. CipherSafe.io. Guys, I keep telling you, and I'm not going to stop. You need to store your seed in a secure place. Store your seed in the Cypher Wheel or the all-new Cypher Grid. They both come with a tamper-resistant wire, but the grid comes with a punch tool. Shout out to Optimus Fields, our new director of chaos on Twitter, and the clips and just awesome stuff that he's doing. Drop this in our Telegram, and he's absolutely...
Can I read that quote? Can I read that quote?
Oh, of course you can read that quote, but I just, before you do, this is a great website. I don't know which pleb has done this, but great job. WhoisKlausschwab.com. Each excerpt and quote has a link to the receipts. So not only do you have Simply Bitcoin, which covers the articles that they make disappear conveniently, but now there's this website too. This is awesome. Okay, Nico, read that quote.
The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world. Klaus.
Oh, God, please, no jump scare. Okay.
Anyways. Oh, Phil.
Yes.
Why don't you tell them about our podcast?
Exactly, right? Guys, as you know, with every one of these episodes, we drop audio-only episodes. Don't forget to check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. And if you so choose and you decide to stream us sats, we are on fountain.fm, and you could stream us sats with Breeze.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, before we go, I want to give a very special shout out to our clothing sponsor, representltd.com. Phil and I wear the hoodies every day. Phil's got the new Bitcoin one. I got the giant samurai one. Really cool stuff. And you can take advantage of the link down below to get 10% off anything off the rephard.com store. I also want to give a very special shout out to our awesome guest at Jimbo Coin. He's the author of Orange Coin Good, The Value of Bitcoin. You can get it on Amazon. And I also heard before we started recording that book 2 is on the way. When is that going to happen, Jim? When is book 2 coming?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm going to have to get back to you on my next appearance.
He doesn't want to tell us, but book 2 is coming. We just can't tell you when. But anyways, guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Of course, you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails from New York. Klaus. Definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin, and we'll see you on tomorrow. We'll see you on tomorrow's episode.
Proof of work, they can't control. Proof of stake, they can corrupt.